Medieval. The short-lived demo. Yes. Might as well, mightn't I? I mean, I've got it. So this game, this is obviously the remake of the PS1 game that I didn't play until relatively recently, the original one. But this is very much my aesthetic, and I'm actually quite excited for this. So I thought I'd do a video on the demo while it's out, and I've got it.
Hated his fellow citizens for their simple and peaceful ways. So he raised an army of demons and set out to take the realm for his own.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Sir Daniel Fortescue,
under the circumstances. So yeah, this demo is actually no longer available as of time of recording. And I actually really don't like that they did that. I mean, obviously I understand the reason for it. It's very much like a, oh, you know, it'll be gone soon. Get it quick, hype, hype, hype. But like, demos are a really kind of important consumer-facing thing, and so to have this one just sort of disappeared as part of a kind of cynical marketing stunt honestly feels a little bit shitty. So yeah, that's sort of, I don't know. I don't know, I don't like it. Oh, sparkles. But hopefully the game will be good. I have already played the demo. Birds happening. So this cutscene is pretty much one-to-one, shot for shot. But obviously the visuals are drastically updated. They're really sort of committing to... It's not like a Spyro Reignited or a Crash, whatever that one was called. That looked a bit rough. I don't know what to think about this gentleman's face. To be perfectly honest. Oh, I'm wet now. I'm wet now with magic. No, not the sky. That's a bit rough. The bottom of the trident sort of drifting along the ground like that. It's not as bad as I actually remember it being the first time I saw it. I for some reason remember it looking worse than that, but it's still a little bit rough. Little bit sort of dodge, but it is less noticeable there than I thought. So yeah, this is... It's, as I've said, it's not like a... it's slightly more noticeable there. It's not like a Spyro Reignited or a Crash, the one that was called, situation where it's like... I mean, the upgrade is significant, and it does look good. I like how it looks, but it's not quite so lavishly done. Possibly just because this is more of a cult thing. Like, Spyro and Crash have a much wider appeal than this did. Certainly a wider reach and, you know, more easily recognisable. So I can understand why this would perhaps have less money thrown at its production. Your trees have gone spooky and... Oh no, that's a bird. Thank you for getting rid of the bird. That may have been one of those birds that I have nothing to do with. Spooky zombies happening. So yeah, I have mixed feelings. At this point, I had mixed feelings. It does look good, but there are just little pieces of jank here and there that I feel like I don't know, because here's the thing, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I did notice it on the first pass, and I feel like that says something. That skeleton, however, is perfect. I love him. These are the options. Colorblind settings, that's nice to see. You can have those two languages or the system language. Invert look. I won't heck about with any of that. I shouldn't have been in there in the first place, to be honest. It's not great content, but... You know. I do as I will when the skeleton bobs his head at me, telling me to start the game. Yeah. That was delightful. He's been a cheeky little boy there, look. Oh, I loved that. I'd forgotten about that. That was very well animated. Stained glass window with a horse, man. Oh no, he's accidentally the skeleton. Wonder where that's going to end up. Oh. Don't know how I feel about how it lingered on that, like there. This also looks kind of rough. There's something about his eye that just sort of his bones have not aged well. But yeah, the way that it lingers on the arrow hitting him in the eye, I don't know how to feel about that.
It has risen again, Sir Daniel Fortescue. See?
I mean, I've got to let the gargoyle speak. Listen to him.
Who fell at the first charge? The fog of war and the shrouds of time conspire to turn the arrow fodder into the saviour of the day. But we knows better.
I swear I'll get back to my point at some point.
Let it alone. Fate has given it a second chance. A chance to forget the ignoble truth. A chance to defeat Sarok and live up to the legend. We hopes it does well.
I do like the gargoyles. So anyway, the point that I was making... Ferry? Is... Ah! I don't want... So yeah, the point that I was making... What was the point? Yeah, so in the original version of that cutscene where he was like shot by literally the first arrow, you know, this supposed hero of Gallowmere who, in actuality, like just fell before the battle even really began. Like he just sort of gets hit by the arrow in the original and then keels over with, like, no fanfare, really, no gravitas. And it's just this really sort of inauspicious moment. And there's a certain level of pathos to that I felt like was really appropriate. And they kind of traded that in a bit here. Anyway, here's some books.
When you're ready to leave this crypt, you'll find an exit at the end of the hall. To unlock the gates, you must find a runestone and place it in the ornate hand set next to the doorway.
I also don't know how I feel about what Sir Daniel Fortescue is doing with his head right now. It confuses me, to be honest.
You will find life bottles throughout Gallowmere. They contain the same magic that rose you from your slumber and will raise you from the dead once again.
I already got it.
Using this bottle will help you feel a little better. And remember to fill it when you can.
I got that bottle already. Here's a fun book.
Any treasure that you find will be added to your coin total. Coins are used to buy items from the greedy merchant gargoyles. You
Final
must be
book.
out of shape after 100 years lying on your back. Use the crypt to get to grips with your new lease on life.
I have read the books and learned the base. I mean, they've not really told me how to do anything, the ones in here, but... Aha! You see, there's those doing a better job of it, really.
Some weapons contain powers and abilities beyond the ordinary.
Ah!
Every weapon to discover their secondary abilities. Some weapon abilities are
Help me!
and some may need a bit of time to charge before they realize their full potential.
Oh dear. Well, I've got wet shins now as well as the problem. There's always wet shins. Copper shield. Lovely.
During your travels through Gallowmere, you will collect many items. To see your items or to use one, review your inventory. In it, you will also find your Book of Gallowmere, which will keep a record of the denizens you've encountered and bestow you with keen insights that only a disembodied voice could provide.
Indeed. Give me a sword. I've got a sword. You can take your own arm off and hit people with it. A helmet that's not very good. And your bestiary. Do. Infinity Slash! I'd forgotten about that. That's wonderful. Oh, the fun hand's taking your thing. We found a runestone.
Track down Xerok by retracing his diabolical odyssey through Gallowmere. You can spot the exits from an area by looking out for his stinking trail of magic slime.
Go towards the green thing to win the game. Got it. Oh. Okay, so we've only got the one actual level available in the demo. The graveyard. It advertised Dan's Crypt as being another level, even though it's, like, not really. Well, I mean, you just saw it. You just saw it. I don't have to explain to you. We are some trees. Hello. I'm a little confused by this, because I could have sworn... Wasn't the implication that our crypt was up on that hill over there, but we just came from it? Like, this was the entrance. Oh, well, it no longer exists. Okay. Like, that was the entrance to our crypt, except now it's the... Yeah, you see, beyond that is clearly the village. What's going on? I don't... The geography. The geography. Ah! Oh no, I've desecrated a grave, and now you as well are dead. He did me a bit of a nip. So, yeah, the combat. There's no lock-on. You've got a floating fairy friend who does it automatically. It is definitely an old game. And I feel like... Yeah, R1 just puts your shield up like that. I feel like you could have had that be a lock-on button in this day and age.
Welcome back to your beloved Gallowmere. The stinking dead have risen up to dance with the lifeless
Soul Reaver
living,
had a lock-on button.
and they want to do it over your dead body.
Soul Reaver was a PS1 game. I see no reason why you could not have added that in. I do a blap. So yeah, I feel possibly a little too faithful in that regard. I feel like, you know, I do get that this was done after they saw how Crash and Spyro capitalized on nostalgia for the original games. So this is a nostalgia play. Because they did do a remake of this before for the PSP, which was kind of wildly different, and this is a lot more, like, true to its roots, I suppose you'd say, so I guess that's the point of this one. But also...
That small light following you around is a wisp. The heroes of the
I mean, it's
Horde
Na'vi,
were
but
not
continue.
supposed to intervene in mortal affairs. But when they heard that Sir Daniel Fortescue had a shot at redemption, well, they decided to give you a hand with your depth perception. He will circle enemies, helping you direct your ranged attacks, but he'll also let you know what things might merit a closer look.
Yeah, so that's sort of them explaining how the lock-on works, and I've got to be honest, I would rather just press a button. The circling things you can interact with is rather helpful, I will admit. Oh-ho! But as a lock-on mechanism, it ain't great. But I shall stop dwelling on it now, because it's a fun skeleton walk. Bobbity 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 bobbity. Fun bobbity one. I've not noticed that. Was he not doing it with the sword? No, he absolutely was, and it looks funnier with the sword, to be honest. Okay, there was no excuse for me not having noticed that, and I sincerely apologise. Knives. And you, sir. Would you like some of my cutlery? I'm glad to have sorted that out.
Don't let zombies get you down. Tend those wounds by stepping into this fountain of rejuvenation.
So it is a healing thing. Which I'm glad that it explains it right next to it, because you're always sort of reticent to walk into a green cloud in a video game. Oh, it grasp. Wants a different rune. So I feel like the face on the right has just thought of a joke, and the one on the left is just so fucking sick of centuries of this. An old sort of setup. But it's fun to think about. Look at him, cheeky boy. I don't like that the camera's... You don't need to invert the look on my account. I don't know why you did it in the first place. I don't know why that was the default, to be honest. Was that a thing in old games as well? Because it's the only reason I can think of to do it. Yeah, you can cycle between boys. Making liberal use of the knives, because I remember having a bunch of them left over when I did my first playthrough of this. I did think about doing one where I went in blind,
Sometimes
but
it may be useful to view the world from a different point of view. Be sure to
I don't know. I decided that my first go through the demo, because I did think I was going to do a video on it at some point, but I wanted my first pass to sort of just be for me. I kind of have a bad habit of, like, turning everything that I'm enjoying into, like, a project that becomes an obligation. So I don't want to, like... I mean, I'm still here doing it at the end of the day, so... You know, I've not perfectly avoided it. That's the other thing that got me about this. I'll explain it when it becomes relevant. So it became relevant! So yeah, I've, the sword might be unavoidable. Crouchy boy! So yeah, holding the R1 button does a blocky block. But, like, it just blocks the way you're facing. So, because you're not locked onto the enemies, if you're, like, a little bit off, they'll, like... end up hurting you anyway, so it sort of makes the block difficult to use!
Remember, nothing remains hidden under the gaze of an angel.
Pardon? Go away. Leave! Oh. Oh, it's the Grail. It's the Grail. There's not really a point to getting the Grail as it stands, because the Hall of Heroes section is not in this demo, so you don't get to see anything fun there. But I keep instinctively holding down R1 as if it's the lock-on button, even though I've already explained exhaustively that it isn't. Bones. Anyway. This is not remaining hidden.
Here is the chalice. Every time you dispatch an enemy with a sword, the chalice fills a little more. Fill the chalice and then collect it, and you will be worthy of visiting the sacred Hall of Heroes to claim a new weapon. There is a chalice to be found in every region of Galloway. They are all hidden or well guarded. Only a true hero will collect the full set.
Good to know. Show me the things. There's gold hidden here. How do I access that? Ah! Bones.
The living world lies beyond these skull gates. The master of the Hilltop Mausoleum, the stained glass demon, has possession of the skull key.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that door. Can't do anything with that right now because you can't get to the Hilltop Mausoleum, but I can chop a boy! You can do a choppy woo. That's a swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 swish. You've been swished. I am the swish boy who swishes fervently. Ah! Chaz can now be collected. Whoosh! Good to know. Of course, this is not my favourite good way round, because you can see there's fun secrets in the sunshine over there, where it's nighttime actually, so the sun isn't. But you will never. I hadn't thought about this. Look. Haha. Gilbert the Golden has come home. How do I get out, please? Oh, there is a jump button. For some reason, I thought there wasn't. For the briefest of moments. Well, I want my chalice for the time being. I know I said it's pointless, but I want it regardless. Now you let me in here. The hands just sort of let you alone. They're not bothered about you. Oh, you are, however. I don't like you or your friends. See, I'm pretty sure that was an example there where I was blocking technically, but it didn't register because I wasn't facing perfectly at him. Oh, that was a bit of a wonky boy. How did you do that little? There we go, little skidding animation. I did quite like that. Oh look, it's EA. Oh wow, it really is. You might have thought that was a very easy joke for me to have made, but I did actually put a lot of thought into which AAA publisher I was going to compare that gargoyle to. And you see, as well as being blatantly avaricious, it is also kind of a doofy looking bastard. And when you think stupid greed, it's kind of difficult to argue with a comparison to the company that put out a trailer for its sports game with literal fucking slot machines in it at the same time they are trying to argue to actual government commissions that they have not put gambling in their games. So there you go. There's thought that goes into this, and I've not been present. The spin move is satisfying to do. I do like fun spins. As should anyone who wants to chop a boy. Joy. What? Okay. Chuck him. Chuck him, Harold. Oh, you've nearly not been good. Something about his face there, the way he landed there was a bit sort of amusing. Wah! I want to do a jumpy. I can't do a jumpy. Not there. Not there, not for that price. Revive my green liquid. Well, we've got to wander into the wet now. You see, because I can't retreat while locking onto someone as well is another issue that I'm noticing now, which would make ranged weapons significantly more useful. Oh, nightmare, Steve! Why have you? I blame him for this. He's the only one who'd think to do it. Kick it with my little foot. Another shield.
Feel free to have a paddle in the shallow water, but don't be tempted to go for a swim. Buoyancy can be a problem for those of a dead disposition.
I also kind of don't know how I feel about the narrator in this. I can't remember all that much of what the narrator sounded like in the original, if indeed there was one. The one in the remake was sort of like this kind of sarcastic, generally indifferent voice. This one's a little more actively malicious. And again, I think sort of the indifference was more fitting, and there's still a certain degree of indifference. I don't know that it's indifference so much as sort of patronisation in this case, but I don't know, I can envision a future in which it grows on me.
Tread softly. Zarek awaits beyond these gates. The Master meets with the demon from the mausoleum, hatching plots of purest evil. Forgotten nobodies would be wise to make themselves scarce.
Well, oh, it's them, it's the faces again. Everywhere there's a joke. And on the other side of the door you don't want to know. Mausoleum. Of course, there's a link to the pre-order. So yeah, that's Medievil. The short-lived demo for you there that I've played. The game's out on the 25th. So the issues with some of the more janky aspects of the cutscenes, I don't know that they would be fixed in that time. I don't know how long that typically takes. I would assume longer than 15 days. So I feel like this is probably going to be a pretty reflective representation of the final version, and I am probably going to get it. It is the thing. Like there's stuff that I'm not over the moon about with it. I am probably going to get it. I don't know how immediately, because the thing is, Code Vein's out. And I do like making handsome boys. There's a lot out right. Like Indivisible came out right now, and I've been really excited about that for a long time. So there's Indivisible, Code Vein, and this is on the horizon as well. I just got the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I've been meaning to play in for like since forever ago. There's a lot of games, all of a sudden. There's just a confluence of games that I suddenly want to play. Boggles the mind. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you're still here, then thanks for putting up with my weird rambling at the end there, but maybe I will see you with the full game at some point. Probably not this year. But who knows? Goodbye. Skellybones.